Did you know that the smallest animal in the world is smaller than a pea? Get ready to discover creatures so tiny they seem from another world. Imagine a chameleon the size of a fingernail or a fish smaller than your pinky finger. This is not fiction, it's reality. If you think you've seen it all, it's because you haven't yet encountered the greatest mysteries of nature. Don't miss the chance to see the most surprising animals that inhabit our planet. They may be small, but their feats are giant. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Now, let's get started. Number 10. Papua New Guinea frog. In the dense tropical forests of remote Papua New Guinea lives a creature so tiny it could easily be mistaken for a grain of sand or a dewdrop on damp foliage. This is the Paedophryne amawensis, a frog that holds the impressive title of the smallest known vertebrate on Earth. With an average length of only 7.7 millimeters, this enigmatic amphibian is smaller than a human fingernail and could comfortably rest on the tip of a pencil without being noticed. Officially discovered in 2009 by biologists from Louisiana State University, the Paedophryne amawensis went unnoticed for centuries due to its natural camouflage, discreet habits, and its vocalization that resembles an insect sound, a high-pitched buzzing that echoes through the forest floor leaves, confusing even the most trained ears. This song serves both to communicate between individuals and to ward off potential territorial rivals. In addition to its extraordinarily small size, this species also impresses with its evolutionary adaptations. Unlike most frogs, which undergo a metamorphosis involving an aquatic tadpole stage, the Paedophryne amawensis is born already as a miniature frog, a phenomenon known as direct development. This means it does not depend on aquatic environments to complete its life cycle, a crucial advantage in habitats where permanent water pools may be scarce. Its discovery was a milestone not only for herpetology, but also for evolutionary biology and biodiversity science. It reminds us that, even in the 21st century, the planet still hides remarkable secrets in unexplored places. The existence of such a tiny vertebrate challenges our concepts of the physical limits of complex life, raising questions about how vital organs, such as the brain, heart, and lungs, can function properly at such microscopic scales. The Paedophryne amawensis is more than just a scientific curiosity. It is a symbol of the biological wealth of tropical ecosystems and a reminder of the importance of environmental conservation. In a world increasingly threatened by habitat destruction, every creature, no matter how small, represents an irreplaceable piece in the intricate puzzle of life. Number 9. Cave shrimp. Hidden in the dark and silent depths of underground caves, an enigmatic creature survives away from human eyes. In an ecosystem as isolated as it is fascinating, we are talking about Stygobromus hyi, popularly known as the cave shrimp, an almost ethereal crustacean that inhabits underground aquatic environments with little to no light. This small animal is a remarkable example of extreme evolutionary adaptation. Without the need for vision, its eyes have regressed almost completely, a common characteristic among species that live in troglodytic or subterranean environments. With its translucent whitish body, it appears almost like an aquatic specter, a ghost gliding through the cold waters of the caves. Stygobromus hyi is considered a critically endangered species, primarily due to its extremely limited geographic distribution. It is found only in certain caves in the southeastern United States, such as the Shelter Cave system in Alabama. Any slight alteration to the environment, whether from contamination of the underground water or simply human traffic in the caves, could put its survival at risk. Although it measures only a few millimeters, this shrimp plays a crucial ecological role. It acts as a micro-recycler in the subterranean environment, feeding on organic debris and contributing to the balance of the fragile cave ecosystem. Its discreet diet and slow metabolism are adaptations to the environment with extremely scarce resources. Interestingly, studies on Stygobromus hyi are being used as a model to understand the effects of evolutionary isolation and extreme environmental pressure on species. By living in total darkness and without natural predators, its evolution occurred at a different pace from the rest of the planet. This makes it a window into the past, a true living fossil that holds clues about the evolution of life in extreme conditions. While being discreet and silent, the cave shrimp is a symbol of the delicacy of the biodiversity hidden beneath our feet. The existence of Stygobromus hyi reminds us that even the most inhospitable and forgotten places on the planet can harbor incredibly complex and mysterious forms of life, and that the preservation of these environments is as urgent as it is fascinating. Number 8. Atruscan Shrew. Although nature is full of exotic and impressive creatures, few spark as much curiosity as the diminutive Etruscan shrew, Suncus etruscus, widely recognized as the smallest mammal in the world by body mass. Weighing barely over 2 grams and measuring less than 4 centimeters in body length, excluding the tail, this tiny creature is a true marvel of biological miniaturization. Despite its extremely small size, the Atruscan shrew is an agile, voracious, and efficient predator. It has an incredibly fast metabolism, proportional to its tiny size, which forces it to eat almost constantly. It is estimated that its heart can beat more than 1,500 times per minute, an almost unimaginable feat for any other mammal. In fact, if it were to go more than an hour without eating, it could starve to death due to its high energy demand. This animal lives in temperate or subtropical climates, distributed across southern Europe, northern Africa, and parts of Asia. It inhabits areas with dense vegetation and loose soils, where it can find insects and small invertebrates, its primary food source. The Atruscan shrew hunts at night and uses a combination of highly sensitive smell and hearing to locate its prey, compensating for its limited vision. A fascinating fact is that, even with its proportionally small brain, it demonstrates complex behaviors. Its ability to explore, smell, and react to stimuli quickly is essential for its survival. However, its life cycle is brief. It rarely lives more than a year in the wild, although it can live up to 2 years in captivity. From an evolutionary standpoint, the Atruscan shrew represents a remarkable example of adaptation. It proves that, even on a microscopic scale, life can be incredibly sophisticated and resilient. Studying it could offer valuable insights into the physiology of small mammals, as well as raise intriguing questions about the biological limits of body size among vertebrates. In a world where we usually associate power and resilience with large creatures, the Atruscan shrew stands as a powerful reminder that, in nature, true impact often lies in the smallest details. Numero 7. Noihara Island Chameleon. Amidst the vastness of tropical forests and isolated islands of Madagascar lives a creature so tiny it could easily hide at the tip of a matchstick. This is the Brookesia micra, one of the smallest reptile species ever documented by modern science. This miniature chameleon is a true evolutionary marvel, officially discovered in 2012 on the remote and almost untouched Noihara Island, north of Madagascar's main island, a territory where biodiversity flourishes in a uniquely surprising manner. Measuring approximately 2.9 centimeters from snout to tail, and only 1 centimeter in its actual body, this chameleon could easily be mistaken for an ant or even a fragment of dry bark. But behind its minuscule size lies a complex anatomy with an independent ocular structure, a classic feature of chameleons, allowing it to view distinct environments simultaneously with each eye. Despite its small size, its territorial and adaptive behavior is remarkable. It is primarily active during the day and rests on dry leaves or low branches at night, becoming almost invisible to predators. The Brookesia micra also features an earth-toned coloration that ranges from dark brown to yellowish, perfectly mimicking the ground and vegetation of its dry, rocky island environment. Scientists believe its diminutive size is the result of a phenomenon known as island dwarfism, an evolutionary process where species living in restricted environments, such as small islands, tend to reduce in size to adapt to limited resources and space. Its discovery was a milestone not only for herpetology, but also for the ongoing debate on the conservation of isolated microhabitats. Noihara Island, despite being protected as a national park, still faces environmental risks, such as deforestation and climate change. Therefore, the Brookesia micra has become a symbol of the urgent need to preserve even the smallest fragments of nature, as they may harbor truly extraordinary forms of life still unknown to humanity. In summary, the Brookesia micra is proof that the grandeur of nature is not necessarily linked to size, but rather to the complexity and rarity of its beings, a living jewel hidden among fallen leaves, reminding us that the greatest mysteries of the planet often come in the smallest packages. Number 6. Stout floater fish. Among the discrete wonders of the animal kingdom, there exists a creature almost invisible to the human eye, yet it holds a prominent place in the annals of marine biology, Schindleria brevipinguis, also known as the stout floater. This tiny fish inhabits the tropical waters of the Great Barrier Reef in Australia and is considered one of the smallest vertebrates on the planet. With a translucent and extremely delicate body, Schindleria brevipinguis measures, on average, only 7 to 8 millimeters in length, smaller than the nail on your pinky finger. Curiously, despite its minuscule size, it retains all the essential structures of a complete bony vertebrate fish, making it a fascinating example of biological miniaturization. It was officially recognized as a species in 2004, although its existence had been sporadically observed before, often being mistaken for larvae of other species. One of the most intriguing aspects of this creature is its impressive maturation speed. The stout floater can reach adulthood in just a few days, making it one of the fastest-growing fish among known vertebrates. This agility is essential for its survival in a competitive environment teeming with predators. Unlike most fish, males of this species do not develop pelvic fins, a rare evolutionary trait still debated by scientists. Another striking peculiarity is its bodily transparency, which makes it nearly invisible to predators. Its gelatinous and ethereal body resembles more that of a planktonic organism than a typical fish, challenging the limits of traditional marine vertebrate morphology. Despite its fragile appearance, Schindleria brevipinguis demonstrates remarkable resilience. Its ability to live at varying depths, reproduce rapidly, and go unnoticed in the ecosystem makes it a true master of camouflage and adaptation. This tiny giant of biology not only surprises with its form, but also with everything it represents, a window into understanding the complexity of life on microscopic scales. In a world where the extraordinary often hides in the most subtle details, Schindleria brevipinguis invites us to take a closer look and rediscover the marvelous in the seemingly insignificant. Number 5. Fairy wasp. In the vast and intriguing universe of terrestrial biodiversity, few creatures capture the human imagination as intensely as the enigmatic Tinkerbell nana, commonly known as the fairy wasp. This tiny marvel of nature, discovered in 2013 by a team of entomologists led by John Huber, is one of the smallest insects ever recorded in the history of science, measuring an astounding 250 micrometers or a quarter of a millimeter. For comparison, it is smaller than some single-celled protozoa visible under a microscope. Its curious name, Tinkerbella, is a witty tribute to the character Tinkerbell, the fairy from the Peter Pan universe, and the word nana directly refers to its minuscule size. Despite the almost playful name, this creature represents a true marvel of biological engineering at a microscopic scale. Equipped with wings covered in fine fringe-like structures resembling feathers, it moves through the air with graceful and precise movements, a flight mechanism that challenges even conventional aerodynamic concepts. The most surprising aspect, however, is not just its tiny size, but the functional complexity of its body. Even though it is nearly invisible to the naked eye, the Tinkerbell nana possesses all the fundamental systems necessary for the life of an insect. A brain, reproductive organs, muscles, and sensory structures, all incredibly compacted into a space smaller than the period at the end of this sentence. This feat of biological miniaturization raises fascinating questions about the physical limits of multicellular life and how evolution can sculpt functional forms even at nearly invisible scales. Naturally found in tropical regions, such as Costa Rica, this wasp belongs to the family Mimaridae, also known as fairy wasps. Its role in the ecosystem is equally extraordinary. It is a parasitic insect, laying its eggs inside the eggs of other insects, especially small beetles. This makes it a crucial player in the population control of various agricultural pests, even though its role occurs at a nearly microscopic level. Although its existence may seem like just a footnote in the vast book of life, the Tinkerbell nana represents a fundamental chapter on the extremes of biology. Its discovery invites us to view the world through more sensitive lenses, reminding us that there are hidden wonders even in the smallest fractions of nature. Number 4. Dwarf Seahorse. Among the countless mysteries submerged in the tropical oceans of the Indo-Pacific, one tiny and enchanting creature stands out, often overlooked even by the most attentive eyes: the Hippocampus denise, commonly known as the dwarf seahorse. With an average length of less than 2 centimeters, this species represents one of the smallest seahorses ever recorded by science, and also one of the most fascinating. Its delicate, almost ethereal appearance is an impressive example of evolutionary camouflage. Living mainly among the branches of Gorgonian corals, especially from the genus Anella, the H. denise perfectly mimics the texture and coloration of its habitat, making it nearly invisible to predators and often even to marine researchers. This ability to blend with its environment is not just a passive defense, but also an example of symbiosis with the coral ecosystem. Formally discovered in 2003, this seahorse is named Denise in honor of Denise Tackett, a renowned underwater photographer who played a key role in documenting the species. Since then, it has captivated marine biologists with its unique behavioral traits. For example, like other seahorses, it is the male that takes on the role of pregnancy. It has an incubator pouch on its abdomen, where fertilized eggs develop until the birth of the offspring, a rare and remarkable reproductive reversal in the animal kingdom. Despite its beauty, Hippocampus denise is under threat due to coral reef degradation, illegal collection, and climate change. Due to its diminutive size and close dependence on Gorgonian corals, it is highly sensitive to environmental disturbances. This makes it a valuable bioindicator of the health of tropical reef ecosystems, serving as a silent warning about the impacts of human activities on the oceans. The conservation of this species requires more than just environmental policies. It calls for a cultural shift in how we view the smaller and seemingly insignificant inhabitants of our blue planet. Hippocampus denise is not just a tiny fish. It is a symbol of the complexity of marine life, of the microscopic beauty that pulses in the most unexplored corners of the underwater world. Number 3. Mexican Pygmy Salamander. In the misty and humid forests of the southern mountains of Mexico, there exists a being so small, discreet, and enigmatic that it could easily go unnoticed, even by the most watchful eyes, the Thorius arboreus, also known as the Mexican Pygmy Salamander. With a body that rarely exceeds 2 centimeters in length, this amphibian represents one of the tiniest terrestrial vertebrates on the planet, a true evolutionary miracle, hidden beneath fallen leaves and decaying logs. Despite its modest size, the Thorius arboreus is a fascinating creature, endowed with characteristics that will intrigue even the most experienced biologists. Its moist and permeable skin allows it to breathe entirely through it, dispensing with lungs, a rare and efficient adaptation for life in extremely humid and stable environments. However, this cutaneous respiratory system requires constant humidity, which makes it highly sensitive to climate changes and deforestation. Another curious fact, due to its tiny size, the brain of this salamander is surprisingly simple, yet not inefficient. Even with a reduced nervous system, it displays complex behaviors of fleeing, camouflage, and hunting small invertebrates. And as if that weren't enough, it has an incredible regenerative mechanism. If it loses part of its tail, for instance, it is capable of regenerating it completely as a natural defense mechanism against predators. Unfortunately, all this uniqueness does not protect it from danger. The Thorius arboreus is currently classified as critically endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Habitat loss caused by deforestation, agricultural expansion, and climate change directly threatens its already fragile population. With its extremely limited geographical distribution, any disturbance in its environment can be fatal for the species. Little studied, almost mythical, the Mexican pygmy salamander reminds us that the natural world still holds surprising secrets, even in the smallest of creatures. Each individual found is a precious reminder that biodiversity is not only made up of grand creatures, but also of tiny living miracles, ones that fit on the tip of a finger, but carry within them the weight of an entire ecosystem. Number 2. Italian Dwarf Salamander. In the enchanting damp and shaded forests of the Italian hills lives one of the most unique and lesser-known creatures of European fauna, the Italian dwarf salamander, Salamandrina perspicillata. While its name may suggest simplicity or even insignificance, this little gem of herpetofauna holds secrets that intrigue biologists, conservationists, and nature enthusiasts alike. Measuring only a few centimeters in length, usually between 4 to 5.5 centimeters, the dwarf salamander exhibits a cryptic and elegant coloration. Its dark, subtle back serves as natural camouflage among fallen leaves and moist moss. However, it is when it flips over that it reveals its most striking feature, a vivid red hue running along its belly like a visual alarm, warning predators of its subtle toxicity. A classic example of aposematism, a common defense strategy in poisonous species. This species is endemic to Italy, meaning it is found nowhere else on the planet. Its presence is limited to specific regions in the northern and central parts of the country, and its existence is closely tied to constant humidity and the integrity of forest ecosystems. It is a true ecological indicator. Where dwarf salamanders are found, balanced nature thrives. Despite its fragile appearance, the dwarf salamander exhibits resilient behavior. During the day, it remains hidden under rocks and leaves, emerging at night to hunt small invertebrates like larvae, mites, and springtails. Its life cycle is equally fascinating. Its eggs are laid in small bodies of water or places with high humidity, and the larvae are aquatic, with external gills that resemble delicate miniature branches. Another curious aspect is its alert posture, in which it raises its rear body and displays its reddish belly when threatened. A true spectacle of self-defense that combines elegance with biological efficiency. Unfortunately, the Italian dwarf salamander faces growing threats due to habitat fragmentation, climate change, and pollution. Being such a specialized and territorial species, its vulnerability is high. Therefore, it is among the animals protected by European legislation and local conservation projects. Few people have seen a dwarf salamander in its natural habitat, and this may contribute to its almost mythical status among nature lovers. But getting to know and appreciate its existence is a crucial step in ensuring that this evolutionary marvel continues to captivate the underground of Italy's forests for many generations. Number 1. Microscopic beetles. Have you ever heard of Microscopic beetles? Get ready to meet microscopic creatures that challenge the limits of human perception and hide surprising secrets of evolution. Among the vast ranks of the insect kingdom, Microscopic occupy a discreet but absolutely fascinating space. They are so tiny that they can go unnoticed even under the keen eye of an experienced entomologist. Measuring on average less than 2 millimeters, these microscopic beetles belong to a rarely discussed suborder, yet scientifically invaluable. These insects inhabit damp environments, such as riverbanks, mosses, and areas abundant in algae, their primary food source. In fact, this algae-based diet makes them essential for the ecological balance of microhabitats, as they help control the proliferation of excess photosynthetic organisms. It's as if they were tiny, invisible gardeners, keeping the ecosystem in harmony. Interestingly, the name Microscopic comes from the Greek words mixo, meaning mucus, and phagon, meaning to eat. This refers to the type of viscous food they consume, such as biofilms and algae sticking to wet surfaces. With adapted mandibles and tiny, shiny, often metallic bodies, they move with surprising agility in environments where most living beings would not survive. Another impressive aspect is their highly specialized morphology. Despite their small size, they have complex and evolved body structures, such as segmented antennae, hidden wings, and even rudimentary chemical defense mechanisms, features that reveal a high degree of evolutionary adaptation. The Microscopic suborder includes only 4 known families, making it one of the smallest within the Coleoptera order, beetles. However, their apparent simplicity hides a genetic and ecological richness that continues to intrigue scientists. Recently, researchers have been exploring the DNA of these insects in an attempt to better understand their origin and role in the great evolutionary tapestry of life. These microscopic beings, almost imperceptible to the human eye, prove that the grandeur of nature is not necessarily linked to size. In every Microscopic, there is a universe of complexity hidden beneath the pores of the earth. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting content appearing right now on your screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.